Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Café New Canadians, your virtual event series where we bring you conversations and chats and dialogues of importance to newcomers in Canada. Café New Canadians is brought to you by New Canadians TV, web and TV series that brings you information again on settlement and all relevant information to newcomers in Canada. You can watch us on YouTube and on our website on newcanadians.tv and youtube.com/newcanadians. If you're in Canada, you can watch us on Omni Television, and the times on the screen are right when the show airs on Omni Television. If you're in Toronto, in BC, in Alberta, be sure to catch us on Omni Television. Today we are talking about the immigrant's journey to success, and we are focusing on project management professionals who would like to know how the journey is for them. My name is Gertrude Tumusime, and I'm delighted to be hosting distinguished guests, different professionals from project management. I have Jaime Gonzalez, the president of Latin Project Management Network, and I am also hosting Pranav Vashi, the facilitator of Unstoppable Me. And I also have Ivan Rodriguez, who is the vice president of Latin Project Management Network. You're all welcome to the show.
Hi, Trudy.
Hi, you're welcome.
Hi, Trudy. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about the immigrant's journey to success. What is it like for professionals in project management? Now, we all know that when newcomers come to Canada, depending on the profession that you're in, you face different challenges or you have to deal with different things to arrive at success. And again, we say success depends on who you are and what you want and what you're looking for. And you define success differently, basically. So we would like to hear from these professionals in project management how the journey to success is for them from the time they arrive in Canada and till they arrive at that point when they feel satisfied. We hope that this conversation helps everyone. Remember to send us questions if you're watching us or attending on Zoom or even on YouTube. On YouTube, you can type your questions in the Q&A rather in the comment section. And if you're on Zoom, type your questions in the Q&A section. Hey, gentlemen, you're all welcome to the show.
Thank you. So then if you want, I can start, Trudy.
Well, I before you even start, I'd like to understand how you three gentlemen are doing today.
Excellent.
Yeah, fantastic.
Because you're all not smiling, so I'm wondering whether it's a good day or a bad day.
Always is a good day, right? Always
Yeah.
It's a good day.
Okay, first of all, I would like each one of you to introduce yourselves, and I will start with him to introduce yourselves briefly in relation to project management.
Sure, Trudy, thank you. I've been in project management field for over 25 years now, and I moved to Canada 15 years ago from Latin America. So the first thing I did in my toolbox coming to Canada was having my PMP certification. So I have that back in 2005 and I landed here in 2006. That has been a fantastic tool really and helped me a lot because then I landed into good opportunity in Scotiabank and I was there for 8 years and now I have over 5 years working for TD in financial sector from IT perspective in the insurance industry. So a lot of good things using the PMP certification and being involved in the project management field.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. We'll get back to you later. Ivan, can you please share with us a little bit about yourself in relation to project management?
Well, I've been in project management. I'm in the construction industry, as you can see here. I'm in the construction industry. So basically it's a project-based industry. And for 20 years or so, I don't want to hint my age really, as Jaime did.
He already did.
But yeah, I've been for a long time. Back on the day when I got my PMP in Canada, that certification wasn't that recognized. Even now, within the industry, there are other certifications other than the PMP for project managers. But I got certified probably 10 years ago or so. That's when I get my PMP. But I've been in project management pretty much all my professional career.
Okay, we'll get back to you. And Pranav, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you. So I have a lot of things in common with, some of it is common with Jaime and some of things are common with Ivan. So I have roughly 13, 14 years of experience in project management. Project management is all I have done in my professional life. I have worked in different industries. I have worked in engineering, manufacturing, a little bit of construction management and EPC projects, large scale projects in different industries. I worked in the power industry, the metals industry, heavy metals industry. I've also worked in oil and gas projects for a while. So I have worked in very different and diverse type of business environments and setups in terms of how the projects work. I have been PMP since 2015. So before I came to Canada, I did my PMP already. And as Jaime mentioned, I agree, it gives you a good edge over other candidates once you are in a new country in terms of, the whole job application and hiring process. But having said that, it also depends on where you are in your career, right? Somebody who is still very much in the early stages of his career, PMP may not be the right thing. But then if you have some experience under your belt, and then PMP would be a good option. So I think that is something we can discuss as we go forward. That's my, and I work currently as a corporate project manager in a manufacturing firm. So as my title says, I look after all the projects within the organization, the business projects, engineering projects. So it's a very exciting role I'm working on right now.
Okay, that's good to know. So I can see that all of you gentlemen are from different industries or different professions, right? So where does PNP exactly fit in? Help me understand, and our attendees who might want to get to become professionals in project management. Yeah, who wants to go first?
If you want, I can start.
Yeah, please.
Okay, and then you can jump. Basically, what we have is we can see the profession like a vertical silos, I would say. So if you are in marketing, if you are in IT, you are in construction, so you have skills and knowledge that is specific to that profession. But there are some skills that are across all the different sectors or industries. So for example, HR is valid in every single sector, or finances dealing with a P&L or profit and loss or balance sheet. So that information is across sectors, and project management as well. So right now we have manufacturing, constructions, and technology all together looking at project management and how project management support the projects in every sector. So the idea of project management is a set of skills and knowledge that is valid in every single industry and sector that we can have it.
Okay. All right.
Then if you can add, Ivan.
Ivan, would you want to add something onto that?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, in paper, the PMP or the PIM book is a framework. That's basically what it is. So it is really a framework. It's not a methodology. It's not anything. It's basically just a framework or what you're gonna encounter during the management of a project. Basically, that's what it is. So that's why it's so broad. So it can be utilized or understand by many different industries and professionals with different backgrounds.
Yes. And I can see that all of us here are newcomers, right? And I think all of you mentioned that you got your certification to project management way before you arrived in Canada. So I'd like to understand for a newcomer who's coming to Canada, whether they have the certification or they want to get certified as a project management professional here in Canada, how easy is that for them to slide through?
But let me, in my case, let me tell you, I got it once I was here. Yes. So 10 years ago when I got it, I was already here. And I got it because, not because I didn't have the knowledge. I did have the knowledge, I just didn't have the credential. So I use that credential as a marketing tool to promote my resume. That's what I did.
Can you briefly tell us a little bit about, you say you got it to promote your resume. How easy was it for you to get the certification? What did you have to go through?
In terms of
getting the
requirements,
the PMP, yes. What did you need to do? Did you need to take a course? What did you need to do?
Yeah, you need at least 3-5 hours of training by a certified PMP or a certified company, and you need a certain number of experience. I believe it's 3 years, right. What amounts to certifiable, and PMI, which is the institution that provides the certification. Project Management Institute, they do random audits as well at the same time. So if you're gonna, mostly it's on the honor system, but then they have random audits. So you may just get audited. So there are certain requirements in order for you to sit and do the exam. The exam is very challenging. It's not an easy exam.
Yes. Yeah, but let's hear from Pranav. Pranav, you mentioned that you left your country. I'm sorry, I don't remember where you come from. Is it India?
Yes. That's right.
Yes. When you came from India, you had your certification already, and you were a PMP, right?
Yeah.
A project management professional, certified. Is that a decision you took while you were still there and knew that you were preparing for immigration to Canada, or had you already gotten into the field? And how easy was it for you to rejoin or restart your career, your PMP career here?
So my PMP preparation was not directly, linked to my decision to move to Canada, because that happened later on. Yes. But having said that, I actually happened to be on a project, deputed to a project in Malaysia, and working there for a few months. I realized that having a credential which is globally recognized, it would be helpful. So that is when I made the decision that let me get the credential, and then let's see what comes up. I was looking for other opportunities as well. So I did not intentionally have PMP because I was coming to Canada, but well, it happened that I got the PMP and then I started the application process for coming to Canada. So as Ivan mentioned, I definitely 100% agree that it's a substantial advantage to have the PMP on your resume, because a lot of the jobs will ask for PMP as a requirement, as a mandatory requirement. So the moment you have that qualification or that certification, you are going to be in that the small pool of people who have the credential. But at the same time, you also have to understand, I very clearly remember my first interview here in Canada when the interviewer asked me that, who was also a newcomer, not a newcomer, but an immigrant for like 5-10 years in Canada. And he did his PMP after coming to Canada. So he told me that I see a lot of candidates who come here for the interview who have the PMP, but they do not have the necessary experience to substantiate the knowledge which comes with the PMP. Mm-hmm. I agree that the exam is difficult. It's not something that, anybody can just do it without understanding the concepts. So it's a difficult exam. But then having said that, there are bright people out there in the world. There are people who can just crack the exam without having any experience of project management whatsoever. And when such people get into the jobs and real life project problems come in, they have absolutely no idea of how to deal it, because the exam or the course is not going to teach you that. That is something which comes with experience. So experience cannot be replicated by the certification. And that's why I mentioned in the beginning, it depends on where you are in your journey. If you are just starting your career, it's better you get some experience. There is another certification called the CAPM, which is basically a beginner's certificate in this journey. So you should target that. But then if you have a good experience under your belt, you have done groundwork, real work in the field on projects, then you can definitely crack the PMP interview exam. And then it will also help you a lot in the interview process. So the person who is taking your interview, if that person knows project management, he will find it out in less than 5 minutes how much you actually know about project management. It's not a tough thing. Like I'm sure Jaime and everyone will agree, if they interview someone, it will not take them more than 10 minutes to find out how much that person actually is in touch with PM, right? Project management. So I would say a person with experience, definitely they should get the credential. But if somebody is trying to transition into project management, or somebody does not have too much experience, they should first try to get experience and target the CAPM rather than the PMP.
Yes. Thank you, Pranav. And I would like Jaime to tell us a little bit more about that, but also trying to help us understand what kind of experience do I need, you know?
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Because
what
then,
kind of experience do I need in order to get through, like Pranav has been explaining?
okay, so that's good. Yeah, basically what you can see here is the project management field. You can see here like curriculum, a portfolio that grows from entry-level positions. So if you are recent grad, or you are just willing to know about project management, so the CAPM will be a good certification. So it's basically, if you are new to the field, but you are interested, and then you know that, okay, there are project managers doing a lot of activities with communications and managing the project, and I see that's something that I would like to do in the future. So we'll be starting with CAPM, the entry level. So basically no requirements other than kind of bachelor degree and some technical components. No, I would say minimum requirements. And then with experience, because that is something we cannot avoid. So in project management, that is the key. I have been working with projects, I have been doing this, I have facing challenge, and I have overcome that. And then I can see how is that implemented, etc. So that's a must in project management. So you have to have experience. If you add it then, continuous development and education, like we are doing with LPMN, with these PM discussions and stuff, plus other hours of contact that you have in your education, you can move then to the PMP. And then that's good. But then we can see now that they have to be even higher. So you can go for more specific certifications at a higher level, like program manager or portfolio manager, or have that combination of that certification with other certifications like Scrum Master if you want to go for Agile and you are in the technology field, or cybersecurity or business analysis, other components. So in fact, the point for project management is having the experience, having love of education, moving your knowledge on your skills, and combine that with other components, even in your sector specific. So then you'll be more prepared to deal with the everyday challenge in the projects. For example, if it's in the industry, in IT, technology, or financial, you will see also information about how you know the business there. And then you are more successful project manager if you know how the business runs.
Okay. So for a newcomer, let's talk about a newcomer who's just coming to Canada. They're maybe an IT specialist, maybe they're an engineer, maybe they're a journalist, or whatever profession that they have, you know. Why would you advise any of them to take a certification in PMP? Ivan?
Okay. Yeah, as Pranav said, you know what, go for the certification is very important. If you don't have much experience, go for the CAPM. If you already have experience, if you already have 3 or 4 years of experience under your belt, just go directly for the PMP. Don't be afraid of that. I mean, it's a difficult exam, but it's not impossible. A lot of people will have passed that exam. So if you have 3 or 4 years of experience outside of Canada, wherever you have it, just go for the PMP exam. Okay. If you don't have that, go for the CAPM. That's what I would say. Now, just probably expanding on the idea of Jaime, that's very important to understand. PMP, it will be more recognized in certain areas. Probably Jaime can tell you more about IT or how's the Agile certification ongoing now, and it has a lot of demand, for instance, which is a methodology within project management, but you don't necessarily need to get the PMP certification, really. You can specialize on that methodology. In the construction industry, certifications or credentials such as PEng, professional engineer, or architect, etc., it has much more weight than a PMP as well. And then the industry has their own project management certifications. These are given by the Canadian Construction Association, and they have a certification in project management, site superintendent, owner's construction manager, etc. So it depends on the industry. That's I would recommend just go over there and then do research and start looking into that.
Okay. So
and then if I can add just a little bit here as well. So I will ask the person, why do you want to go for project management, either certification or going in that field? I will ask that, go to the NOC, the National Occupation Code, and see what is the role of a project manager, a junior project manager, or even a project control officer, the junior positions, and then see what are the activities they have, the skills that are needed, and what is the day-to-day job in that specific NOC. So if they have that and they say, okay, yeah, I'm really going for that, so then yes, go and look for either CAPM, PMP, or more experience, getting more involved. But then it's really, why are you looking for PM field?
Yeah, from what you're sharing, I can tell that it's very important for actually any newcomer professionals to get this certification in order to kind of boost their resume and also be well placed for the job industry, if I can get you right. And so we would like to understand, where do I start if I want to get the certification? Where do I register for it? To sit the exam? Can you guys share? Can you share, Pranav?
Yeah, sure. So the process is pretty much simple. If you visit, so PMP is the project management professional, is the certification, which is provided by PMI, which is Project Management Institute based out in United States. So if you go to the website, you will see the entire process. It's very well documented. You have to register yourself for the process by first getting a course. You have to get the 35 hours of professional training from a registered education provider, which is then followed by an application process. Your process is vetted, where they see that you have actual experience. We have to give an example of how you have worked into the different areas of project management. So it's broken up into separate phases, like initiating projects, executing projects, monitoring, controlling the projects. So you have to give examples of the projects that you have worked on. And then as Ivan was mentioning earlier, sometimes there are audits. So few applications are audited where they will do an advanced level of scrutiny, whether actually you have done that work or not, right? There may be some communication with the organization or the projects that you have mentioned about. If you don't fall into that category, then process goes pretty smoothly. You then take, once your application is approved, you have to schedule yourself for the examination. And then this examination, because of COVID now, there is a flexibility, you can take it online as well.
Yeah.
And the course is changing the exam pattern is changing, I think from January 2021. So there are going to be substantial changes. And then if you clear the exam, you get the certification right away. So process-wise, it's pretty simple. The first thing that people should do is find a good registered education provider where they want to get the training, right?
Yeah.
It can be sometimes costly based on who the provider is, whether it's an in-person course or it's an online course. But I would say that it's the training course itself is something which makes or breaks your whole application process and your preparation.
Okay.
So we at the LPMN group and the Unstoppable Me group, that's what we try to do. We help the candidates who are preparing and in their journey of preparation for PMP. And all we do is we have all the different people, like the panelists over here and other very qualified individuals who are PMP, and they help and guide those people, right? So this preparation process is very much important, and I think due diligence should be done in selecting a good education service provider. So
Okay.
that's the most critical aspect.
And can anybody take this certification, or are there people who are exempted from taking it?
So you mean the prerequisites?
No. So what I mean that, okay, I'm, say, for example, I'm a journalist, right? But there might be somebody else from another profession. Are there any professions that with anybody who cannot, are there exemptions of people who cannot get this certification?
Not at all. Everybody, this certification is open for everyone, as long as you're involved in a project-based business, as long as you can show your experience that you are working in a project environment, you can take this examination.
Okay.
There is a prerequisite for the educational requirements that you should be a graduate or
have done, yes.
That's it. Otherwise.
So is that like me going to, for example, UOT and taking a course in project management?
You can do that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, sounds good. And then, okay, let's say a newcomer is here and they already got the certification. So where are the opportunities? Ivan, can you share with us? Where are the opportunities?
That's a tough one.
I'm still wondering myself, you know.
Yeah, because it's one thing for me to go get the certification, make my resume look very beautiful, but I still sit at home with it in my pockets or in my bedroom. And I mean, where are the opportunities? And help the newcomers understand.
Yeah, it is difficult. I'll give you my experience, what happened. And that's why I got the certification. And I will say it doesn't have to be the PMP certification, just a local North American certification that people is more familiar with.
Yeah.
Something like that. Try to get that. So what happened is that, for instance, 10 years ago, I had already 10 years of experience in Canada. Yes, I'm hinting my age now. So I already had 10 years of experience in Canada back on the day. And I started looking for a new opportunity, and I was finding that I was getting a little bit less of where I was at, actually. So what I did is I already had the courses for the PMP. What I did is I bought a couple of guides myself, and I studied by myself, really, for the exam. That's what I did, because at the moment that I was taking the exam, the PIM book is the book that all the exam is based on. It changed. It was a different version. Everything was different. So I studied by myself for 3 months or so, and then I passed the exam. After passing the exam, I did put in my resume, Ivan Rodriguez, PMP.
Mm-hmm.
And then a month later, I found a better opportunity. The same experience, the same education, the same person, the same name. I just changed,
Only
and I had the
3
same
letters.
courses. Only 3 letters I put out there.
That looks good on your LinkedIn profile, you know, PMP, you know.
Exactly. So it looks good. It's not that you don't have the knowledge, you do, but it helps. Any certification, it helps, as long as it's recognized in here, North America. Somebody's more familiar with it. It helps.
Yeah. So I also understand that Jaime, Ivan, from the Latin project management network, and also Pranav mentioned that he volunteers with the organization, and this is a professional body that brings together people from the Latin, I think, area to like project managers, right? Or project management professionals. Yeah. So when
Yes.
you are talking, when you are helping, and you will tell us about this, about mentoring and everything. When you are doing these things and getting people who are interested, or people who have just gotten into the field who want or who need uh, mentorship, I'm sure they ask you, I mean, where do I get the opportunities, right? And like he said, I think it's not enough for you to just put it on your resume and keep quiet. Okay. Are there other things that you tell these new professionals about?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of things. Sorry, give me 1 second, then I will.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Jaime, and then we'll go to Pranav.
Okay, good. Thank you. So yeah, so the idea will be here is not only at the end of the day is with or without the certification, the journey will start basically getting involved. The first thing I would ask everyone that is coming to Canada and is brand new and a newcomer, things like that, volunteering, give back to, let's say, a professional association, support the association, give time, and then getting to know. So if you have opportunity to do volunteering and some networking, you will know people, and then those persons will introduce you to either information interview or knowing the area, and then give some tips and some recommendations from insiders. So that's important to get there. So then if you have volunteering and then you move to networking, you can have a mentor. And then if you move to having a mentor or a sponsor, that really helped you in the journey to find a job. And then having mock interviews, having resume built in and recommendations, your LinkedIn profile presence, and then other things that you can have in your social media or other activities that will help you to be more visible as well.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Pranav, do you want to add into that? You had something to say earlier.
Yeah, I just got reminded of my days as the new immigrant because it hasn't been really that long. So I remember those days, and I was going to talk about the same thing which Jaime mentioned. So I would agree, volunteering plays a big role. So I was associated with Unstoppable Me even before I got my first job in Canada. So even before coming here, I had a mentor. I was talking to someone because when you are coming to a new country, you don't know how thing operates. There are a lot of stuff you don't know. So I was working in a very, very good, very comfortable job as a project manager back home. But then the dynamics of a job as a project manager, requirements, expectations, everything is totally different, right? So if you start talking to someone who is doing here something in the same field, who has been here, it gives you a help. So there are a lot of programs, you can search for them, try to get enrolled into programs even before you come here, right? That would be my first suggestion. Second is always volunteer. I may already stress enough about it. I cannot stress enough about it. Please volunteer. Try to talk to people, showcase your skills. You never know when that opportunity will help, or when that other persons around will help you. The other thing is have a backup plan. So in my case, I was volunteering, but at the same time, I was applying for jobs. And then as a backup plan, I had an application for a co-op program. So I applied in a co-op program, and ultimately that's how I got my first break. That co-op program helped me an internship co-op position somewhere, and then I was hired there as full-time, and then I switched jobs, and it's history now. But what I'm saying is, it's this thing coming to Canada is just like a project. You have to plan all your steps. The biggest risk is not securing a job. It's always going to be the biggest risk. So there are steps that you have to do, and I think volunteering is the best way to mitigate that risk. So volunteer, have a backup plan. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Pranav. Just a reminder for our attendees, please send in your questions if you're in Zoom in the Q&A section, and if you're on YouTube in the comment section. And in a bit, these three wonderful gentlemen are going to be answering your questions. Make sure you ask them the hard ones, because we want to know the hard answers, yeah? And I can see them nodding, so they're very, very ready for your questions. And I can see that Pranav and Jaime just mentioned a few things that you can do to ensure success in the field of project management. And so we would like to understand, Ivan, can you share with us what are the other things that professionals can do in order to succeed in this field? What are some of the other things they should do?
In order to succeed, to me, I would say just keep preparing yourself. Just continue your education. Stay updated at every single level. For a newcomer, the most difficult part is getting that first job. Getting that first job is the most difficult, really. Right after, it's different because you already have some experience here. I was reading over there that that a so-called Canadian experience is a huge obstacle, right? And I know it is, and it's a problem. However, finding that first job is the first step. It's the most difficult part. Right after, it will get easier. Yeah. It's not easy, but it will get a little bit easier right after. But I would say just keep yourself educated, updated, take courses, get involved within your own community and within the industry as well. Yeah. Get involved with the industry, see what is out there, what are the innovations, etc. Stay updated.
Yes. Does having a social media brand help at all in this field?
For me, social media brand, no. I mean, you do need to have a LinkedIn nowadays, profile, and well-published profile on LinkedIn, because that's where if you send your resume out, the first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna look for you on LinkedIn. That's what they're gonna do. If they cannot find you, it's like, where are you, right? Yeah. But other than that, I don't think you need anything. You don't need to be in Snapchat or Facebook or Instagram. Like, who cares? You need to get a job in the professional field, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take some of the questions. Pranav, did you have anything to say before we go on to the questions from our
attendees? I just wanted to add what Ivan said. So on LinkedIn, what you can do is you can get connected with the local bodies, the local organizations, or there are a lot of organizations like Unstoppable Me, LPMN Network. You can volunteer even before you are coming to Canada. You can be wherever you are and still be connected on those groups. A lot of people are posting questions, and if you have the right knowledge, you can share your experiences and answer and help those people out there. What will happen is, as you are active on LinkedIn, people are going to notice that the skills that you have, your communication skills, your technical knowledge, your all other different types of knowledge, right? So that is going to help you build your own brand or the online presence that you need. So for project management, I think communication is the most important part, and being active on LinkedIn and doing those kind of activities, it's going to make you stand out.
Thank you so much, Pranav. Jaime, I want you to answer this first question because I understand you're a senior in these things, okay?
Okay.
So this first question is from Eluyinka, and they say, how can the PMP certification be used to overcome the proverbial Canadian experience? This is a major obstacle to PMP holders from securing project roles, PC or PM roles. I know that Ivan mentioned, but I would like you to help us understand, Jaime. I hope you got the question, right?
Yeah. So I think the PMP position, the way we can manage that, having the certification, is starting in a lower position in the industry she wants to, or the person wants to join. So if they start, let's say, project control officer will be kind of entry-level position, they can start having all of these PM skills and showing that is kind of overqualified for that job. And then soon we'll be moving to a junior PM position, and then we'll start the career. So what is important is to have the first step. So yes, if there is already qualified, they have the certification, have the experience and the knowledge, can apply for a project management position right up. But if there is not opportunity because it's your first job, so you go down maybe 2 or even 3 steps in your professional level, and then build here in Canada. Have like if you have 6 months as a project control officer, you can move to a junior project manager easily in the following year. And then within 2 or 3 years, you have your senior project manager position or something that is really what they are looking for.
Yes, thank you so much. And Pranav, would you kindly take this question? Meron says, I took the 35-hour training, but I do not have enough experience in PM areas to go for the exam. What is the possibility of acquiring experience in PM areas without the certification and meet the requirements to apply for the exam?
Right. So the only way to qualify for the exam is that you have to show an experience which is project based. As I say, project based work in you cannot skip or bypass that requirement. You have to meet that requirement. Having said that, it is not necessary that you are working as a project manager or a project administrator. You can be a project engineer or you can be a technical person, but then ultimately your work is being done in a project, on a project. You're working for a project with the customer. You could be reporting to the project director or the project manager, but you are still part of that project. So you are going through all the phases of the project, right? So you have to have that understanding with you and then do the application process. It's not necessary that you should be actively managing the projects or coordinating the projects. You can be part of the project team, but as long as you can showcase the understanding of project management and working as part of the project, you can still apply for that. That is for sure. But if you don't have enough years or months being part of a project, then I'm afraid the only way is to get their experience at X number of years and then do the application. But if somebody is very keen to get some certification, as I said before, CAPM is not so much stringent in terms of requirement. Even if you have, I'm not pretty sure, but I think it's like 1 year. If you have 1 year of experience, you can still apply for the CAPM. So I would say for such a person, CAPM would be the best start.
Okay, and you mentioned that CMPA?
CAPM.
CAPM.
Associated
those are the different types of certifications, right?
Right. So that is.
So how many are there? How many are there?
So there is a whole range of certification. So the CAPM is the first and the most basic. It's the associate level project management certification. The next is PMP, which is most widely accepted and pursued a certification, I would say. Then as your experience goes on increasing, you can go for the next, which is the PGMP, which is the program manager. So it's a collection of projects. It's a higher level job. And then the portfolio management. So it goes into seniority. Then there is other areas like scheduling professional, which is very popular in the construction industry. Then there is risk management. And now with the advent of the technological projects, software projects, there is the agile certification, which is very, very popular. So based on the type of industry you are working on, you can also select the certification. So there is a seniority level, and then there is a type of industry which will help you in taking, making that decision. So I would be happy if somebody wants to understand more about it, they can reach out to me and I can definitely help them out.
Okay, we can share your contacts at the end of the session. Yeah, sure. But let's take another question from Andrea, who says, I'm working in the nonprofit sector. I have a background in social projects, but not any certification. I'm going to take CAPM, but I really don't know how important or required are those types of certifications in the nonprofit sector. From your point of view, does it work for the nonprofit sector? Thank you. Anybody?
Yeah, it does. Oh, go ahead, Pranav.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Ivan.
Okay. No, of course. I mean, those are transferable skills. If there is a project within the nonprofit sector, then it's a transferable skill. It's divided in knowledge areas, right? The PIN book. So you, as Jaime was mentioning, you will always have HR, you will always have the cost component of the project, the time component of the project, the stakeholders management of the project. You will have all those components regardless of the industry. So yeah, it applies pretty much to nonprofit as well.
Okay, thank you. I hope Andrea got that. Do you want to add something, Pranav, briefly?
Yes, yes. I'm assuming that Andrea is probably still a newcomer or planning to come to Canada. I don't know, but what can be done is try to research all the nonprofit organizations in Canada and look at their website if they are hiring for project managers or jobs which are related to project management. What are the requirements? Is certification a requirement generally?
Mm-hmm.
I would say as a as a as an approach, a good approach, you should definitely go for the certification. But then if it's a decision which you are struggling to make, I would say research the non-profit organizations here and look at their hiring patterns. Try to connect to someone who is working there and then get the answers.
Okay, thank you so much.
And then I will add just one additional thing. So yes, if she's in the non-for-profit sector, we'll see if Andrea wants to go for that certification. But that certification will help her for the project manager career beyond the non-for-profit job that she has right now. So for project management, if that's what she wants to do, yes, go for the CAPM, have more experience, get into that sector, then move on to PMP, and who knows who else can have in the future. So it's
Right.
important to have the first step, and I would recommend the CAPM for sure.
Okay, thank you so much. And Gloria from Colombia says, I have experience and took a course here in PMP. I assume here is in Canada, in PM field, project management field. And now I'm searching for a job as an IT project coordinator. And in the same time, starting to get the PMP certification because most of the job offers require it. Is it difficult to get job for people who has, okay, for people who have an open work permit here? Did you understand the question?
Yeah, I got it. So it's basically to work in IT field. That is one of the fields that I would say that's easier to get from international experience to Canada. If Gloria is in Colombia or people could be in a different location, so the IT is one of the more transferable skills that we have from back home to Canada. Um, Having that with the PMP certification, so she can go for that as well. So that's internationally recognized and have the value. In order to land in a job here with open work permit is I would say not that easy as she was a landed immigrant. So landed immigrant will be the first option for hiring companies, but open work permit is also valid. So if she has the permit, she can look for that they will ask if she's entitled to work in Canada. And with an open work permit, for sure she can do it. So then that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you so much. And Ellie says, do you have any recommendations of an academic institution in Ontario to pursue the PMP certification?
You know what? Regardless of where they go for, they can go, and I don't think any course, whatever this is gonna give you by itself all the tools, all the knowledge to pass the exam. People will need to study by themselves. They will need to practice a lot of questions, mock test, etc. So having that education, those 35 hours, it will give you just a small idea of what's happening. You will go through everything, but really understand the concepts and everything. You may have to do a deeper study of all the concepts. So regardless of where this person is gonna go, they would require a lot of study by themselves.
Okay.
What I did in my case is I went to the cheapest place I found.
Okay, which was?
And I don't remember now. It was in Young and Blue or something.
You are an intelligent person.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, it wasn't the cheapest, but it was the most comprehensive and affordable, let's say. It wasn't cheap, but it was affordable. It wasn't extremely expensive, right? But I did it only to get those 35 hours. Basically, that was my objective. And then the knowledge, it was self-study, a lot of self-study.
Yeah, but Ellie wants to know if you have any recommendations, Pranav, of any institution.
I have been researching this for the next certification which I want to do. So I have in fact I attended a training for Agile. So I have a couple of names. The Canadian Management Center. They have registered partners who give this training. So check out their website, Canadian Management Center (CMC). There is one in Mississauga, which is called Education Edge. I don't know the name of the person, but there are two gentlemen who work as corporate trainers and they do the training there. And I have got very good feedback for them. I attended one of their promotional events as well. They are good training providers. And I think the University of Waterloo, they also have programs for project management. So what they do is they have some modules which they teach, and they also have PMP preparation classes as well. But then the schedule and all those things needs to be checked out. But that course is also good. This is what I know on my personal research.
Okay, thank you so much. And someone, Eloinka said you can try Career Edge. They are on LinkedIn. So you also mentioned something like that.
Okay,
let's hear from Manuel. Manuel says, thanks for the opportunity to join. And this will go to Ivan. Manuel is in the construction industry and working as a project manager. In your experience, would you rather prepare for PMP certification or any other construction certification from Canadian Construction Association, or both? Thank you. And I know you mentioned about that.
That certification is a gold seal certification. If you go to the gold seal, you will find that the base for the project management, it is the PIN book actually. The PIN book is the base for the gold seal, in addition to some real life experiences and industry knowledge. But the base on that exam is the PIN book, the same from the PMI. So they're complementary, I think, both certifications. If I will go for one, probably I will go for the Gold Seal certification because it's more recognized within the industry.
Okay.
However, getting the PMP first, it will help him to pass the other one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. And Sese says, did any of you go back to school to study same courses or degrees you already had in your home countries? Any of you? No?
I can go. There is the difference between regulated professions and not regulated professions in Canada.
Yeah.
If you are in healthcare sector, if you are a lawyer, an accountant, or professions that are regulated with a body, you have to go back to school and take some courses and have the validation as well as the approval for that profession. Even for engineering, we have to have your engineer as the valid credit. You have to go back to school and have test. But if you are looking for jobs in IT, in technology, in finance, you have a BA, business administration, or you are economist, things like that. So those are transferable. So if you have that degree from back home, you just have to have that validated with University of Toronto or WES, the organization that validate that, and then translate. You don't have to go. Let's say if you are a journalist, like you truly, it's okay. You can use your profession and you don't have to go back to school, only for regulated professions.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for that. Ebele says, I was recently told that there is no market for project managers at the moment. What do you think about this? I'm a PEMP certified, but I have been advised to try another field. Somebody is leaving you guys.
I don't know what is the industry.
Well, oh yeah. Can you, Ebele, can you please tell us what industry you're in, if you can? Um, okay, and let's take another question from Andrea. If you worked in projects but not following a certain framework like PMP, but just managing a project in a day-to-day basis, a person can be enough. Okay, a person can be enough prepared to take. Can a person be prepared enough to take PMP certification? Anybody understood that?
Yeah, with day-to-day job for sure.
Yeah, like
So
if you work in projects, but not in certain framework like PMP, but managing day-to-day projects, can that be enough to prepare for PMP certification?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So most of the people before they take the PMP exam, they are not following the framework. Well, if somebody is curious, they may be reading the book and start implementing things that they learn from it. But most of the people are get used to the framework once they start preparing for the exam and start learning it. So if you are working in project management on a day-to-day basis without any framework, you can definitely learn the PM book and start working on that. Yeah.
Okay. And going back to Ebele, it says you asked Ivan. You asked what field or what industry they are in. He said I handled media innovation projects for a media company. I'm hoping to transition to IT project management since technology is in demand. Yeah. So can you then get back to their question? Their question was. I was recently told that there's no jobs for project managers at the moment. What do you think about that? He's certified, but has been advised to try another field.
I would say that keep the open eyes really. So right now the market is slowing down basically for a lot of sectors. Let's say the finance, the banks, the financial industry, some construction projects, I think they are slowing down, but other projects are even growing. So things related to, let's say, they have to see how is the healthcare after, but for example, mobile devices and online opportunities, cybersecurity, innovation and things like that will be in demand. So it's really to see how is the fit for the new field. But right now, this is a transition period. So yes, some industries will be slowing down, but others, and then you will see after we can be over the pandemic and the COVID-19, all the activities will resume. And then the more you are prepared for that, the better that you can be at that time.
Okay. And so what entry level jobs do you recommend in your industries or the industries you've worked for that allow the possibility of gaining some experience in project management? This is from Ellie. Any entry level jobs that you guys can recommend for PMP?
Yeah, the project administrator or the project control officer, as Jaime mentioned before, is one of the most basic level at which you can start. I remember when I was a newcomer here and I was applying, I was being contacted for a lot of those kind of jobs because I did not have Canadian experience. So people will approach you for the base level job, right? That's where you get contacted for. But I had a lot of experience, so I did not pursue them. But yes, if you are not able to get something like a project control officer or a project administrator, there are a lot of general administration jobs at times, which gives you a very good opportunity to get into the project side of things, right? So you should look out for those kind of roles.
Okay, for in half a minute, each one of you, I am afraid we have to kind of wrap it up. 30 seconds for each one of you to give any parting shots. Ivan.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess that's me. But thanks so much for inviting us. I guess just keep in mind that let's focus on your industry, do your research, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a PMP certification. Any kind of certification, email open the door for you for the first job.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan, and thank you, Pranav. Can you please share your last shot?
Yeah, I would like to thank for this opportunity. I would like to let all the attendees know that if they want to reach me out, I am always available for further discussions. I would say, apart from making this decision about the PMP certification, if you have experience in a certain industry, that is your biggest advantage. So try to stick to that base and then build on to a certification, CAPM, PMP, whatever it is. But stick to the industry where you have experience from, because that's going to give you some strength. And
Okay.
second thing I will say is work on your communication skills. Try to see what is an accepted standard over here. Communication is very, very important.
Oh, thank you. Aim.
Yes.
Amen.
Okay. Thank you very much. It has been a wonderful time talking to you, Trudy, and then thank you for New Canadians to having us. I would say that get connected. So if someone is trying to be visible here in Canada and they want to go to the labor market force, do networking, search for professional associations, look for what organizations should be appealing to them for the sector specific. If you go to, for example, to TRIAC and see the professional immigrant networks, you will find something that is appealing to you. And even if it's not, you can create a new association. You can have a new organization and then have your connections together.
Okay. Thank you so much, Em, and thank you everybody who has joined us today for the Immigrants' Journey to Success and looking at the perspective of project management professionals. We would have loved to take it further than that, but you can certainly get in touch with this gentleman, Latin Project Management Network. The website is on your screen, and Unstoppable Me, the website is on your screen. Get in touch with them if you have any further questions and everything. And thank you so much for watching. Brought to you by New Canadians. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and you can connect with us through our newsletter for information and resources on immigration, settlement, education, and all other things that are important to newcomers in Canada. And we would like to hear from you about how we are doing. Please remain, if you're in Zoom, and answer a very short and brief survey and tell us what you would want to hear, what kind of topics you would want us to talk about, what people you'd want us to host, and we will be very, very delighted to hear from you. And again, thank you so much from me and the team at New Canadians. You all have a good evening. Gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking to me. It was very, very, very delightful. And